Okay, I'm back. There was an abrupt end. I had to disconnect my computer. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? We proved how back? How how much did we lose? Gotta find something. Tie up with the marshal. We know he opened his locker. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. Unrelated. Murderer was wearing gloves. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Yeah, okay. It's this, right? Wait, what? I'm wrong? What did I present last time? Too bad it wasn't me in that video. Did I show the tape again? No, it doesn't. Okay. Well, I don't know what I did. By chance. I guess we smacked this. I do not remember. Nope. What the hell did I do? Press? I guess we pressed him? What do you mean by that? If so, the video direct evidence you have. That video is full of blind spots, places you can't see. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us video in this evidence that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Show evidence. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. The cloth, right? Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness. Officer Jake Marshall. Okay, so I see where I am. Okay. We fast forward until the cloth is left. There he is, Jake Marshall. Walks around, he opens it up. Freaking, what is his name? Meekins comes in. They fight. There's no cloth. Then we go here, we see nothing. Then it comes here. Then we look at the cloth. Eat that. Back to security camera. It's a mistake, I'm afraid. You'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. Can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That one. That locker with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Yeah, it's not, I should have saved, but I mean I couldn't. I had to shut off the PC. That, you know, cannot really, well, you cannot at all save in that case. The game does not auto-save, so. Oh, the white cloth is gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order. It would seem that's the only hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. Oh. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Edge was like, he doesn't know. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Judge is like, he doesn't know. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you are the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah, I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker, now prove it. That's how the damn lockers are made. Fingerprint sensor? Yep. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. But what kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. He did. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? He's screwed, he's biting. I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Order, order, order! Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. I shall save again in case of some mishap. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? Yeah. That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. Oh, where he was hiding. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? I'm gonna say he was inside of this place. Maybe that's not right. Officer Marshall was standing right here. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Your chamber's empty, partner. Better reload. I don't need to reload. I can do an actual reload. Saving further and further in. So we don't gotta worry about it. Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Okay. That Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. What do you mean? He did see him. Yeah, no, I don't understand this option here. This whatever the hell they're saying. I don't get it. He did see him. That's the whole point. That's why he went in. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible. Oh, he is the freaking. He's right here. Tim. He's not hiding. He's right there. Officer Marshall was standing right here. I picked the wrong person. I guess I missed the thing. This V is the There, but that's where the victor, the V is the victim, Detective Goodman was. No, no. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. He doesn't look at people's faces, bro. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Because it would not match his face. Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple, he couldn't show it. Oh. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. He showed that his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? He's biting. He's biting. You've got quite an imagination, partner, but you're sweating. You got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? No, I don't think I do. Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Edgeworth is saying nothing. Maybe he'll help me. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. Oh. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. He's helping me. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basic. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. Okay. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? To hide his freaking suit. What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, He opened his own locker for some unknown reason. Not unknown, he's hiding his clothes. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Come on, man. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. The tape is freaking insanely good for us. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Not for the glove. Wait a minute. J to rewind. Because he was dressed up as good man? Probably because there was blood on it, he was stabbed, wasn't he? There you go. See, it was bloodstained. Bloodstained. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman for the damn camera and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Got him. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh? 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. Ooh. Witness testimony, Marshall's confession. And what happened 2 years ago? I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Okay. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Meekins' hand? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he is the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Alright. Cross-examination. Marshall's confession. Okay. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. What is it? When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? Because it cost him his job. That day was my last chance. That's why can we continue? I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. Are you sure you didn't kill him? So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report. But it makes sense because he lost it before he died, obviously. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. Yeah, how did he fool that? No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because the rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out with a knife. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his race this year. What the hell? Why are you determining races now? When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Yeah. Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? He's shaving with it? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? He was knocked out? What else? He was sleeping like a baby while he was also bleeding, idiot. So what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I am not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Oh. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Ooh. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I am also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything to get to an answer I am satisfied with. The SL9. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? Obviously, he doesn't think so. Right, let's continue. The case was solved 2 years ago. Yes. That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Well, he still wants to solve it. He thinks it was solved incorrectly or whatever. Joe Drake was convicted for his crime. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Drake case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at the trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. He says nothing, huh? Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. Excuse me? What do I think his real reason is? I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. I can't just forget the SNL incident. You know why? He's asking me a question. Okay. Files for Joe Drake killings solved 2 years ago. Perpetrator Joe Drake, incident number SL9. Serial murder sentence is death. Victims is Edward Jones, Jason. Oh, Marshall. Yeah, right. I remember. I present this thing. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. Oh. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Oh, he won the king? He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. Was it not broken? What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. Makes sense? He was investigating the murders with Damon Grant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. So that's him. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. This guy. Joe Drake. My brother fought Drake and was killed. That was the first time Drake left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. Okay, so he was right. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Drake. Oh, someone else killed his brother. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as a Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. So who killed Goodman? Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Oh. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, which was not a murder, This fake murder was going on at the police department. Oh, okay, I see. Chance, it's got to be more than that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky.
Objection!
I object. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Objection!
No objection back. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. There is a doubt. When you stole it, was he alive? He stole the card from him. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Objection? Arg! I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. What do you mean? Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. Oh, there's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Wait, this object. Hold it. There you go. He took the stand. Your Honor, wait. Emma, the defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, in a sense, please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Alright, here we go. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Drake killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. Oh, so did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. What the hell? Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student, great. Come on. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, I say, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood marks. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Was someone hiding behind the freaking statue? Or the freaking dancing badger? Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? I object, obviously. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. He's like, oh, what are you talking about? The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Oh, it is. The save, I guess. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? The badger. Yes, something that when drawn will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. No. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plan? The blue badger panel. He's drinking. What about that piece of plywood? The blue badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The blue badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. It blocks the whole thing, right? This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Yep. Well, what? Oh, Edgeworth got it. He's shot. That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think through it scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was put in? Where did the blood come from? Just one moment, I will not allow such far-fetched blatherdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice. Ooh. But how? One time was captured on this tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport is really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Probably the damn timestamp. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? It has to be the ID card record. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at 4:50. Let's see here, 4:50 PM. Before that was Miles Edgeworth and one more person. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 PM. It's Miles Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth. Just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the first number. The crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. All 7. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? They could have walked in together, buddy. Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he could have used someone else's card. He must have entered along with the real murderer. Yeah, because his card was stolen. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777 whatever. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777. Great. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I am unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Yeah, it's the thief, right? Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. The judge has it though. But that's ridiculous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge. You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Objection from him. Okay. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number and it's not all 7. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Ooh. Oh, she's on the freaking stand now. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for their trial. At the time, occasionally we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Oh, has she actually done it? Oh, shit. Lana. I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. How is he also on the stand? During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshal. Oh, why wouldn't you answer him? Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. So she did do it. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. Oh shit, that's not good. The judge is super surprised. See, that's what I'm talking about. No, no. Oh my god. Order, 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 order. Lana's remarks caused such a stir, the chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day, the third day. Well, perfect timing. Please do say. Oh god. February 24, 3:12 p.m. Wright and Co. Law Offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I'm sorry I got identified here. So she did forge evidence. It all comes down to that freaking case, obviously. And what happened over there. And who killed freaking... I mean, obviously it's Grant, right? It's the chief of police Grant. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.